Hello guys, and welcome back to another cold episode. On today's episode, we are back with another new Duel Links deck to look at, another new Duel Links episode. And on today's episode, we're revisiting a theme, but it is a new deck. Here it is. This is a Ancient Gear, or Ultimate Ancient Gear Golem deck. The focus is trying to get this guy out on the field. Why do you want this guy on the field? 4,400 attack boosted up by middle-aged mechs, which allows us to start the duel with Ancient Gear Castle on the field, boosting up any Ancient Gear monsters by 300 attack. So, you know, possible 4,700. Plus, it deals piercing battle damage. Inflict the difference of battle damage to your opponent. That's piercing battle damage, right? Plus, it negates spell and trap cards until the end of the damage step. And if this card gets destroyed, you can special summon an Ancient Gear Golem, which you need to have to fusion summon this. You can special summon an Ancient Gear Golem from the graveyard, ignoring its summoning conditions. Now, let's talk about Ancient Gear Golem real quick. The other core part of the deck. I'm running 2 because I only have 2. However, I don't know if 3 would necessarily be better. You only need 1 Ancient Gear Golem and 2 other Ancient Gear monsters for this deck, right? So, Ancient Gear Golem cannot be special summoned. Again, it inflicts piercing battle damage, and it negates spell or trap cards until the end of the damage step. Pretty good. It's actually really good. However, it doesn't really have as much protection or utility as something like Ancient Gear Reactor Dragon. However, I want to point this out. This deck can be played completely 100% free. If you take out 2 Wyverns, you put in whatever other Ancient Gear cards you want, right? Oh, hold on. You could put in Ancient Gear Knight. You could put in probably not that. You could put in Gear Town, right, with a Cosmic Cyclone to summon the Ancient Gear Golem onto the field, right? If you only have 1, right? You could. How many does this? Hold on, I wanna check something real quick. Right here. So okay, you do only get 1 Ancient Gear Fortress. So realistically, you could take this out. You could take those out. Replace them with. You could replace them with an Ancient Gear Reborn. You could replace them with an Ancient Gear Box, or an Ancient Gear Knight, or you know, an Ancient Gear Reactor Dragon as well. Anything like that, right? Now, that's how you would play it for free, right? And so that's kind of why you could use this deck over the Ancient Gear Reactor Dragon deck. Both, I think, have really high potential, and in the replays you see that I actually am playing this in the max level of the KC Cup, which means it's pretty competitive. We're facing off against meta decks, and I believe I had a positive win rate with this. I don't know what the actual win rate was, and I did lose a couple, but yeah, you can definitely win with this. You just get Ancient Gear Golem and Ultimate Ancient Gear Golem from dueling Dr. Valiant Crowler at the gate, right? So, Ancient Gear Golem, pretty standard. What is this guy? So this guy, Ancient Gear Wyvern, and Ancient Gear Fortress all come from the Structure deck. Now, the Structure deck, you can just run one Ancient Gear Fortress, 1 Wyvern, and then I would say play, you know, instead of another Fortress, play another back row, and then instead of the Wyverns, play some more ideally 2 Ancient Gear boxes, or an Ancient Gear box and a Knight, seeing as how this effect is, if this card is added from, if this card is added from your deck or graveyard to your hand, except by drawing it, you can add 1 Earth Machine type monster with 500 attack and defense from your deck to your hand, except Ancient Gearbox. You can only use this effective Ancient Gearbox once per turn. So you could activate, you could, summon your Wyvern, grab a box, grab a Knight, and then, if you have Polymerization and an Ancient Gear Golem within your hand, or heck, even a King of the Swamp in your hand, you can fusion summon there, right? Now, what is this guy? Ancient Gear Ultimate Pound. Ancient Gear Golem Ultimate Pound. Cannot be special summoned. If this card attacks a defense position, inflict piercing damage up to twice per turn. When this attacking card destroys an opponent's destroys a monster by battle, you can discard 1 machine monster. This card can attack again in a row. If this card on the field is destroyed by battle or card effect, you can add a Polymerization from your deck to your hand. And if you do, add 1 other Ancient Gear monster from your graveyard to your hand. Right? Meaning, this is why we play this card. You summon it, it doesn't negate any effects. So you have to keep that in mind, right? You have to know it's not going to negate a drowning. It's not going to negate a, enemy controller. It's not going to negate anything, right? It doesn't do that. These do, this doesn't. But it can attack multiple times in a row by discarding one of your machine-type monsters. Guess what? All the Ancient Gears are machines. Pretty good. Then, if it gets destroyed, you can add a Polymerization and an Ancient Gear monster to your hand, right? Getting a Polymerization into the hand, great. Getting another Ancient Gear monster into the hand, fantastic. That allows us to summon Ultimate Ancient Gear Golem. Easier, right? So there you go. Then we have King of the Swamp. Can be used as a substitute for any one fusion material whose name is specifically listed on the fusion monster card. Right? That means it could be used as an Ancient Gear Golem, right? Say you have this card, Gear Frame, and Wyvern within your hand, and a Polymerization. Boom, immediately you can go for an Ancient Gear Golem, right? Pretty freaking good. Plus, you can discard it to add a Polymerization. So let's say you don't have the Polymerization, but instead you have an Ancient Gear Golem. Well, discard it. Grab the Polymerization, fusion summon, grab this guy. Boom. Done. And again, this guy has so much attack. It's very difficult to get over, right? It can get over Caucasus. It can get over Invoked Earth. It can get over a lot of things. Even through an Invoker, or Alistair the Invoker boost, it can still get over these and deal piercing damage. Right? So it's always going to deal damage if you can get it through. Then we have Keeper of Dragon Magic. Again, this is very similar to the King of the Swamp. It's just there to get your Polymerization, right? Plus, if you're just running 1, you don't need the... it is free to play. You can purchase this from a structure deck for gems, right? Now, the other key part of this is important, this is important. You can do it without this, you can do it without this, but this one is probably the most important card other than Ancient Gear Golem and Ultimate Ancient Gear Golem, right? Ancient Gear Frame, 1600 attack, right? Boosted up to 1900 with Ancient Gear Castle, but you can discard a card to add an Ancient Gear Golem to, or 1 spell or trap card that specifically lists the card Ancient Gear Golem in its text from your deck to your hand, right? So if you wanted to run Ancient Gear Fist, oh, just kidding, not that one. Which one is it? I forget which one. There's a spell that is that specifically lists this. Oh, is it this one? Yeah, here we go. This is from a level up reward from Dr. Valiant Crowler. Send 3 Ancient Gear cards you control to the graveyard. You can special summon up to 1 Ancient Gear Golem from your hand or from your deck, ignoring the summoning conditions. Then destroy all monsters you control except Ancient Gear Golems. You cannot normal summon or set until the end of your turn. Right? So if you wanted to, you could add that. Kind of unimportant. But you can add an Ancient Gear Golem, which is the important part. Add an Ancient Gear Golem by discarding a card. Then you can also swing in and it negates spell or trap cards. If this card leaves the field by an opponent's card effect, you can special summon up to 3 Ancient Gear Golems or Ancient Gear Ultimate Pound. That's why we run this guy as well. From your hand, ignoring their summoning conditions, right? You can get up to 3 on the field if this is destroyed by something like a Black Rose Dragon, by something like Treacherous Trap Hole, by something like, I mean, there are a myriad of things, right? So that's pretty good. Then we have Wyvern. It just searches for an Ancient Gear anything, right? You could search for Frame. You could search for Golem. You could search for Pound. You could search for Fortress, right? Fortress prevents your Ancient Gear monsters from being targeted on the turn that they are summoned, which means you have a little bit of protection for your ultimate Ancient Gear Golem, which you will see be pretty nice, right? Now, we don't have a lot of back row destruction. However, we do have a lot of back row negation, which means if they have back row, they can play it prior to the battle step. But if it's battle stuff, something like a Drowning Mirror Force or a Wall of Disruption, you're just going to negate it, and it's not going to matter, right? Enemy Controller, Treacherous Trap Hole, 2 just insanely good cards in the meta right now, especially Treacherous Trap Hole. You will see in one of the replays, I believe, that I absolutely stop a Ritual Beast or Spiritual Beast deck because of this one card. Treacherous Trap Hole, if you don't have it, I would highly suggest getting it. Here's where you can obtain it. It's in Visions of Ice. It's super good right there. It's a mini box, 80 packs. Right there. It's limited to 2, so you only need to pull it twice. I only have 1, and it's still incredibly useful. I wish I had 2, but I don't. Floodgate, Trap Hole. Again, it just puts their monster into defense position, and then you can pierce it with any of these guys, right? So that's why I run that. If you have more, run more. If you don't want to run Drowning Mirror Force, or if you don't have that, you can run whatever tech cards you want, right? This is the core of the deck. Right? This deck absolutely can get you to King of Games if you play it correctly. I've seen people in Legends kicking butt with this deck. I have been able to kick butt at basically that same tier of play. So there you go. Let's hop into some replays. Alright guys, welcome back. So as you can see, we are against Ishizu Ishtar, which means probably Sealed Tombs. Gonna negate anything from the graveyard. So we got to keep that in mind. We start the duel. We actually end up going first, which is never, okay, not never good, but rarely good for Ancient Gears. Right? Because this only works on your turn. Right? During the turn, they were normal or special summoned. Your opponent cannot target Ancient Gear monsters you control with card effects, and they cannot be destroyed by your opponent's card effects. Right? Just during the turn they are normal or special summoned. Right? So going first, detrimental. That's why we set this. We set a Treacherous, and then I play an Ancient Gear Frame, because we could discard a card to grab an Ancient Gear Golem. However, I don't do that. I want to keep the Wyvern in our hand. However, Beast Tamer, or Ritual Beast Tamer Elder, and a Ritual Beast. We're going to completely negate that with a Treacherous Trap Hole. Deny their play. Treacherous Trap Hole is so good against Ritual Beasts, right? Then we summon a Wyvern. We drew a Wyvern, so we summoned it, and then we just swing in and grab ourselves Ancient Gear Golem and Ancient Gear Golem Pound. And then we happen to draw into a Keeper of Dragon Magic. We discard for the Polymerization. At this point, we're just kind of BMing them. But I wanted to get the over 3,000 damage thing. And so we Fusion Summon. I activate Ancient Gear Fortress. I should have done this prior to us Fusion Summoning. That was my mistake, but it didn't matter. Swing in. Ends it. Coolio. Well, let's hop into the next one. Alright, so hopping into this next one, we are against Maximilian Pegasus, right? Let's see what deck he's running. We don't even know what skill he's running, because it doesn't pop up with a skill. And look at our starting hand. Let's look at this real quick. Wyvern, King of the Swamp, and Ultimate Pound. That's an incredible hand. You could synchro or fusion summon right there for your Ultimate Ancient Gear Golem. And you're probably wondering why we have Quintet Magician. It's just a placeholder. It's just saying, here is a random placeholder in the extra deck so that people think that we're running 6 in our extra deck. However, why don't we fusion summon immediately? Because it's not safe. It's not safe. We go first, meaning it's not safe. We don't know what's on their field. We don't know what they have. They could have a Treacherous. They could have a Floodgate. Well, a Floodgate wouldn't matter that much, but they could have this, that, or the other thing that makes it unsafe for us to immediately fusion summon that thing, right? We don't know what they're playing, right? So now it's their turn. We grab ourselves an Ancient Gear Golem, just in case, and we go from there. We see that they're playing top tier, tier 1 Black Wings. Black Whirlwind opens up with a Simoon. We're in trouble, right? He's going to be able to do most of his combo. Synchro Summon, he could have lethal. Let's hope that he doesn't. Obviously he doesn't, seeing as how this is a replay, and I'm not comfortable with showing losses on screen. But he swings in. He deals. He gets us down to 500, but he takes 1,000 damage. That's super important. So we set ourselves the enemy controller, just in case, and we fusion for Ultimate Ancient Gear Golem. Guess what? It's lethal through this guy. Boom! Swing in, 3,400 damage. We win. Game over. Just like that, right? Now, thinking back, I am very glad that I summoned the Wyvern on the very first turn rather than fusion summoning, because Black Wings can summon a card that destroys cards on the field, right? Or can synchro summon a card that destroys cards on the field due to, per number of other Black Wings on the field. Right, so he had a Gale. Had he chosen to synchro summon the other card, he would have had I don't know if he would have had lethal, because I don't think his effect boosts up his attack. But he would have had us down to similar health, if not had lethal, and he would have been able to destroy something. So had we summoned that, had we just immediately fusion summoned, we could have lost that duel. Okay, next replay. Alright, so in this next one we are against My Valentine, which means we are most likely up against Black Wings again. And this time we get lucky, we get to go second. We see Harpy's Hunting Ground, that's when we know it is Black Wings, right? No other deck at the moment is playing Harpy's Hunting Ground. I would be very extremely surprised if at this level of play someone was actually playing Harpies. So, it's Black Wings, Black Whirlwind. They play Chris, the Crack of Dawn, grab themselves up Gale, summon Gale, synchro summon for Chidori, the Rain, and then end the turn. Now, we start our turn. We open up with Gear Fortress, and I immediately make a mistake. I summon Wyvern prior to setting Drowning Mirror Force. Bad Snow. Set this, then activate this, because Wyvern says you can only use... oh, no. You cannot set cards for the rest of your turn. Cannot set them. That includes monsters, but you can't set this card either. Anyway, we grab ourselves up our Ancient Gear Golem, polymerize 4 or fusion 4 ancient or ultimate Ancient Gear Golem, swing in 1300 damage to the face. We wanted to get rid of that. Then he Black Whirlwinds, grabs another guy. He has Bora the Black Spear. He has Gale the Whirlwind. He has another Orish the Squall. Then he pops our card due to his effect. This was the one I was talking about in the prior one, or in the previous one. This card pops a card. Where is it? You can target cards your opponent controls up to the number of other Blackwing monsters you control. Destroy them. He pops our ultimate Ancient Gear Golem. That's okay. Guess what? We bring back our Ancient Gear Golem from the graveyard, ignoring its summoning conditions, and now we're stronger than you. You can't swing in. It's our turn, and we rip into a monster, which is hugely beneficial, because now we can wipe his field. We swing in, wipe his field. He couldn't activate any trap cards, not that he had any, but he couldn't, right? He summons Steam the Cloak. He grabs himself up Jin. It doesn't matter. He swings in. He knows that he can't do anything, so he surrenders honorably, but still surrenders. Alright, let's hop into this. Okay, so this time we are up against Yami Merrick, right? And we get to go first. Right, let's see what we draw. He's playing Shadow Game. What does this do? Hold on, let's pause this. At the end of their respective turn, each player will lose 100 life points times the number of cards within their graveyard, right? So that means if we have 6 cards in our graveyard, we take 600 damage. That's how that works, right? We open up Floodgate, Enemy Controller, Wyvern, and Gear Golem. So we set these two. We grab Wyvern to grab ourselves an Ancient Gear Golem. We don't have Polymerization, so we're going to grab the next strongest thing. We don't necessarily want Pound because it doesn't negate, and we'd have to get rid of a Golem to activate its effect to really seal the deal. So instead, we grab the Golem. Then we tribute for we use Ancient Gear Castle's effect to tribute for a Golem. He pops up his Mirror Force prior to us swinging in, so he can't negate it. We lose half of our attack, but look at this. It's a Scrap Goblin. Scrap Goblin cannot be destroyed by battle. However, if this face-up defense position monster is selected as an attack target, destroy it. Only if it's in defense position. I don't think people know that. However, if it's in attack position, you take damage. So keep that in mind. Wall of Disruption. Guess what? It doesn't matter. Even though we take damage for that, Scrap Golem still destroys itself. Then we take 100 damage for our Gear Castle. He destroys, or he can't pay for his Mirror Wall sets, and then our attack goes back to normal. Then we tribute summon for another Ancient Gear Golem. He flips up another Mirror Wall. That's okay. We swing in. Warm Worm. We mill some very good cards. King of the Swamp. And both of our Ancient Gear Fortresses. That sucks. But it's okay. He can't pay for the Mirror Wall. If he did, he would have died. We swing in with our Ancient Gear Golem and win. So there you go. If they're playing a lot of back row, if they're playing stuff like that, just swing in over them with Ancient Gear Golem. Let's hop into this last one. Alright, so this time we are playing against a Yugimoto. That could be a lot of different things. So, let's see. He doesn't have an extra deck. One of the first things you want to make note of, which I don't a lot of times, is, are they playing a skill? No. Okay. Then, do they have an extra deck? No? Okay, we have a better idea of what this player is playing, right? Since we don't get any real idea of what other people are playing on the ladder, this is a great way to kind of tell, right? We're obviously not going up against Blackwings or Invokers or anything like that, right? So, our opening hand, we have a Fortress, an enemy controller, Frame, and then another Fortress. Not the best hand, but we can use Frame's effect to grab ourselves an Ancient Gear Golem. That's okay. We're doing pretty good now, right? He sets a whole bunch of cards. Then he flips up Success Probability 0. And this is where I'm like, wow, I'm really glad that I had Quintet Magician within our extra deck. Because he sent in a Quintet Magician as well as an Ultimate Ancient Gear Golem. So now we still have 2 Ancient Gear Golems, or Ultimate Ancient Gear Golems, if we so chose. We draw a Polymerization when we don't have quite enough for the Fusion Summon. So instead we Tribute Summon for Ancient Gear Golem. He has himself a Dekoichi, so he draws a card. Now, what this tells me is this is Desperado Barrel Dragon. The reason they have Dekoichi is because they want it to be destroyed, plus they can draw a card from it. He doesn't have Desperado Barrel Dragon within his hand. That's fantastic for us. Draw Sense High Level. Guess what that is? 100%. What is that? That is Desperado Barrel Dragon, right? In the moment, I had no idea what that was. But thinking back, this is why I like to do VOD reviews, right? That's a Desperado Barrel Dragon, right? So we want to prevent his combo. Blast Spider can target a card as well as, or can target a Dark Machine type monster as well as any other face-up card your opponent controls. So any of these cards and destroys them both. Guess what? That gets out Desperado Barrel Dragon. But we have Econ. We Econ take it before he can do anything by tributing a monster and taking his. Now he can't play. Guess what? Next turn, we swing in, we have Lethal, right? I don't know what these cards are, but they can't be activated during the damage step, so if it's a Wall of Disruption, if it's Parshath is played a lot in these decks. He doesn't have enough health for Parshath. He can't negate anything. We're not going to play anything. We're just going to swing in. We set this card just in case. I always like to do those plays just in case. We swing in, we deal the damage. It doesn't matter that this was destroyed. He couldn't summon. He ran out of life points. That's how this deck works, okay? It's a lot of just swinging in and just swing in. Hope for the best. Go for it. If you brick, that sucks. It happens. I bricked a lot. I bricked and didn't really get a lot. But if you draw something like Ancient Gear Frame, if you draw an enemy controller or Treacherous Trap Hole, it can entirely shut down the enemy's plan, right? So let's hop back into the deck real quick. Alright, so now looking at this deck, what have we learned? Ancient Gear Golem just wants to swing in, right? Ultimate Pound didn't really come in too useful, but it was nice to have, right? Just as an extra option. I think I did use it to win one duel. It wasn't shown. I forgot to save the replay, but I'm pretty sure that I did win with it. So it's pretty fun. Ultimate Ancient Gear Golem is insanely strong, right? I didn't show any Invoker games, but there was one Invoker game where I made a huge mistake by swinging into the wrong card, and it cost me the game. But had I swung into the right one, I would have won easy. And it's simple mistakes like that. That's why we like to do these VOD reviews, right? I really should be saving some of the games that I lose. I'm not going to show you guys that, but I should do it myself, right? VOD reviews are super nice at helping you become a better duelist, or a better anything, really. If you can videotape yourself, check it out, right? Ancient Gear Frame is super good. Discard a card to draw an Ancient Gear Golem. That's super nice, right? King of the Swamp. In all honesty, I'd probably want 2 King of the Swamps instead of Keeper of Dragon Magic. The only reason I have Keeper is because I don't have 2 King of the Swamps, right? But if you have 2, play 2. If you want to play a more free-to-play friendly, take out that. There you go. Play 2 other Ancient Gear monsters and then another tech card, right? There you go. You could run Gear Town as well to tribute summon earlier for your Ancient Gear Golem or for your Ultimate Pound. But I started with that and found out that it didn't really work, since you didn't really have a way of destroying it unless you were to also run yourself a Galaxy Cyclone. Nope. Right? If you ran Galaxy Cyclone as well, maybe. But I don't think that there's enough room within this deck, right? You could make it maybe like a 25 card deck and then run that as well and take out something like one of the Ancient Gear Fortresses and run triple, or you could run double Gear Town, triple, something like that. Make it a 26 card deck, what have you. But overall, this is what I found to work the best. Obviously, 2 King of the Swamps, 3 King of the Swamps would be better. Just grab those, and then you can just literally, you could have a starting hand of Polymerization and triple King of the Swamps. Actually, that's not true. But you could have a hand of double King of the Swamps and 2 Ancient Gear, whatever cards, and then it works. There you go. So, that's the deck. As you can see, Treacherous Trap Hole. There's a reason it's limited to 2. If you could play more, absolutely, but it's too good. It's too good. If you have no trap cards in your graveyard, destroy 2 monsters. Absolutely insane. Same with Enemy Controller. It's still limited for a reason. I literally stopped that one guy from doing his combo. So, really any tech cards. If you want to run World Legacy Clash, that didn't help. If you want to run World Legacy Clash, go for it. That would work as well. That keeps like an Ancient Gear Frame or an Ancient Gear Wyvern on the field. If you want to run Wall of Disruption, that could do the same thing, right? These are all just tech options. They're whatever. You can play whatever, right? But this deck is incredibly fun. When you beat someone with this deck, it's super fun, right? It's not the most consistent, but it does have the potential to make it to King of Games, or at least get you to Legend, right? I don't think getting to King of Games is all that important. It's nice. You get a bunch of gems, but I don't think it's all that important. But getting to Legend, super nice. Super easy for that, right? I wouldn't say it's a top tier deck, but I would say it's a good deck. It's a fun deck. Keep it in mind. Thank you guys so much for watching. That's where I'm going to end the episode. If you guys did indeed enjoy the episode, a like is very much so appreciated. And if you want to see more content like this, as well as more other stuff like that, you can also check out my Twitch, which is linked down below in every video, where I stream every once in a while Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Links, and you can see me try and make my climb up to King of Games every season and stuff like that. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching, and remember to always stay frosty. Bye-bye.